6 starts with breaking news.
Breaking news this morning, a busy night for Omaha fire crews. OFD was called to this apartment complex near 127th and Dodge just before 10 last night. Officials say when crews arrived, smoke could be seen coming from a unit in the building. OFD tells First Alert 6 in addition to fighting the fire, they also had to help residents get to safety.
Did have some elderly folks and some folks with some mobility issues that we had to work with to get them out of their apartments and get them down to safety.
OFD says the fire was caused by food that was left unattended on a stove. Residents in 27 units were displaced due to the fire. One person was taken to the hospital. The cause and extent of their injuries not known just yet. Damage is estimated at $200,000. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us here on First Alert 6 streaming on this Wednesday morning. It's the first day of October, by the way. Before we get to October, I want to talk about the last day of September because it was beautiful. I went for a walk last night and I was like, whoa, it felt like fall. It's that fall feel that everybody's been hoping for.
That's still about 10 degrees warmer than we should be this time of year, too. The clouds made a world of difference.
It did.
Now we're going to start to heat it up a little bit more. So if you're wanting fall, you got to wait a little bit longer here. Weather headlines show us the clouds moving off towards the east and out of here. The warming trend will pick back up today. We got up to 84 yesterday. I think we'll go a little bit warmer than that today, tomorrow, the next day. The rain chance now looks like it pushed a little later, probably Sunday evening into the overnight hours. We'll see. And some models waffling whether it's a little early morning Sunday thing or maybe an evening thing. It all ultimately depends on the timing of the front moving through. We're hoping that gets a little clearer as we get a little closer. And then next week, it does look cooler, not necessarily because of big air mass of cool air moving in. It's more clouds and rain trying to keep us a little cooler over the course of the day. Temperatures right now, we're near 60 degrees. Most locations upper 50s, lower 60s. Muggy meter dips into the afternoon, so that'll dry out, so that's good news. Don't have to worry about any humidity with this. This is just a little moisture in the air that's not really reaching the ground off towards the east, but the clouds are moving out. This back here to the west, that is actually reaching the ground, but it hasn't moved very far in the last 4 hours. So it is going to be pretty stationary, raining. A lot of haves and have-nots. Where it's been raining, it's been steady for the last 4 hours. Either side of it, there hasn't been much. It's all kind of moving south to north, and that really won't move in. So that will stay off to the west and kind of fizzle over the course of the morning. Clouds will do the same, and every hour we get a little more sunshine. Should surge into the 80s as we head into the afternoon. I think 85, 86 for that high today. A couple 87s are possible. It all depends on how quickly we can get these clouds out of here and then how many build back in during the afternoon, because any that build in the afternoon could have a couple of sprinkles with them or a light shower. Small chance after 7 o'clock. So those would be more of an evening thing now that the sun is setting close to 7. And then into the overnight, you can see things are pretty quiet. So most of us stay dry with that rain chance, but it is something to watch. And we'll see if maybe we can muster a little bit more cloud cover to start off Thursday. 90 though on Thursday afternoon, 94 on Friday as the south wind starts to pick up a little bit. So that is trending up. These dry days with all the sunshine, we can heat it up in a big way here in early October. And that's what it looks like.
Yeah, speaking of heating it up, we could even be so warm where we hit some records or tie some records.
You see numbers like that, you're thinking, that's a little up there for October. Well, you're not wrong. We have the records in jeopardy a couple of days. And we looked at the Thursday to Sunday time frame. That looks to be the warmest. Likely going to fall short of the record on Thursday, but there you go in case you were curious. 94 on Friday would get us close. Probably not going to do that. Saturday's the best bet to at least tie a record, and that's fairly recent. 20 years ago we set that record. Sunday, actually the record was set last year. That's the warmest that it's ever been in recorded history in October, 96. Not going to get there the way it looks now, but again, it's all about the front timing. If it slows down, we could surge a little more warmth in here for one more day before things trend cooler, and you notice the dip in the humidity. And we might get a little jump in that muggy meter on Friday. We'll watch that to see. Some models starting to trend up a little more with that moisture on Friday to add a little humidity to the mix. So some wind will be possible as well. Thursday, gusts up near 20 miles per hour. Friday, a little more prevalent, 20 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts. Then on Saturday, Saturday, we're talking 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts. I paused it here. We get close to halftime on Saturday, the game in Lincoln, and wind gusts 30 to 40 miles per hour. So that'll be whipping the flags around. At least it'll keep the air moving because that game's going to be toasty down there in near 90, probably low 90s during that, since it's in the warmest part of the day. And then southwest winds for most of Sunday, likely flip a bit on Monday, and we'll see those north winds try to cool us off. So a lot of 80s and 90s for the first half of the 10-day, and then the second half gets us a lot of 70s. Still warmer than we should be this time of year, but it gets us a little closer. We're just kind of get grazed by a couple of cool air masses. Overall, it looks like we're likely going to be cooled off just because of the clouds and the scattered showers in the area, the way things are looking with this round of summertime heat that's trying to go away.
Nothing says fall in Nebraska like 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Exactly. That's exactly what everybody on social media agrees too.
Quite the stretch. All right, let's talk about traffic, because I don't know what's been going on this week, but it has been a mess. And today there's some trouble already on I-80.
Yeah, it got a couple of spots to watch. One was similar to what we had yesterday, and there's a crash on I-80 as well. So let's head on over and we'll talk about how things are looking. I highlighted the crash first, and you'll notice here it is on I-80, I believe it's about 50th Street. If I remember the camera that I brought up, it's in the westbound lanes, and you can see it there on the right side of the road there, exchanging information. So if you stay left, you'll get through it, but it is slowing things down just a little bit. There it is on the map, and you can see it crashes right about here, where about 50th to 52nd Street. So it is causing backups towards back towards the 480 interchange. And then we had some slowdowns where there's been some overnight construction ongoing about I to L on I-80. And that was an issue yesterday morning too. And the backup started to extend back through the 680 interchange. So that's still causing issues. And you can see how those extend down through that construction that's still there. So problems on I-80 again from 680 down southwest through all that. And otherwise, you get a bigger picture here. Those are the two main spots of concern. A lot of green on the map otherwise. And let's try to keep it a little quieter this morning. I think those two spots on I-80 are being the big problems. We'll see how it goes here over the course of the morning. Once we get a little volume out of here in the next hour, that should start to improve.
Yeah, we sure hope so. Yeah. All right, Rusty, thank you. All right, we have more breaking news this morning. We are getting local reaction to the government shutdown taking effect overnight. Senator Pete Ricketts sending us this statement before the shutdown was official. He says, quote, "The Democrats just voted to shut down the government. They voted against a clean, continuing resolution that would have funded government for 7 weeks. Previously, they had voted for this exact budget." Meantime, Nebraska Republican Congressman Don Bacon says Democrats forced the move but could end up regretting it.
So I think they don't realize that when you have a shutdown, you give power to the president, you give power to the executive branch. And I've seen this on the other, I was standing in the other shoes in the previous 4 years, and we always knew that Joe Biden would take actions that that we wouldn't agree with during a shutdown. So it always made us resistant about doing a shutdown.
Well, Bacon believes the shutdown will not last more than a week. The House is not scheduled to return until next Tuesday. The last government shutdown was nearly 7 years ago. That was during President Trump's first administration. It was the longest shutdown in more than 40 years, lasting 35 days. Meantime, the organization Nebraska for Us says now that the Republican majority has shut down the government, this is in quotes, Nebraska for Us is calling on the state's federal delegation to reverse damaging cuts to health care, specifically Medicaid, and tax credits that make health insurance more affordable, end quote. Also breaking overnight, Nebraska's paid sick time law officially took effect. This new law requires businesses with 11 or more employees to give those employees paid sick time. Employees will accrue paid sick time after 80 hours of employment at a minimum 1 hour of paid sick time for every 30 hours worked. here at the Safety Desk with our Maria Kate, and there's a new study focusing on experimental medication from marijuana.
Yeah, they say that this specific new drug can actually help cure or solve, lower back pain for people. There were 800 different participants in this study, and it focuses on a new cannabis formula from drug maker Vertanical. The levels of THC in that drug are very low. They say it's pretty much like a microdose compared to most products sold at dispensaries here in the U.S. The company said patients in the trial didn't show any signs of drug abuse, dependence, or withdrawal. And again, the study's lead author says those new findings show that cannabis can really significantly reduce pain and improve physical function in those patients that have that real chronic lower back pain.
And that's common. That's a common injury, that lower back pain right there. All right, more news. It's important. We all know it's important to clean and disinfect your house to prevent the spread of germs, especially this time of year, right? But Maria has some information about some cleaning products that can actually be hazardous to our health.
Yeah, you want to be cautious and conscientious about what products you're using. There's one group that says more than 2,000 cleaning products here in the U.S. might contain chemicals that are linked to asthma, cancer, and chemical burns too. So the CDC says in most situations, if you just clean with that soap and water, that can remove most germs on surfaces. But if someone in your home has been sick, you of course want to use something a little bit stronger. So they say to use regular unscented household bleach. If it's laundry or splashless bleach, that actually might not be good for disinfection. Experts say to never mix household bleach or any other disinfectant with other cleaners because this can release some vapors into the air that can be dangerous for us to breathe in. There are also some natural cleaners, things like vinegar, baking soda, lemon juice. Those might be some other options to consider too.
You mentioned was it your grandpa that used
vinegar.
the apple vinegar?
Yes.
And my mom was a baking soda. So see, old school,
works,
they know, right?
Yes.
All right. Maria from the Safety Desk, thank you. We'll be right back, everybody. All right, welcome back, everybody. So this time yesterday, there was a crash on I-80 that caused all kinds of trouble. Right now, a new crash on I-80.
Yeah, this makes two now on I-80 westbound. So if you can avoid I-80 westbound as best as possible, it's probably going to get you where you need to go a lot quicker. Let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to see on the maps right now. A quick check of the cameras. And Q Street. That's what we are watching westbound here. So just get through some of that construction or be very close to it. And that is what we're seeing with this round moving here. The police just got there to try to direct traffic with this thing. They might have shut down the interstate farther northwest. I can't tell, but there's not many cars coming through right now. You can see about 3 vehicles involved with this one right there in the middle of your screen. It's westbound I-80 just past Q Street. What I just showed you right here, that is the Q Street Bridge, I'm pretty sure, as we're heading off to the north. So again, I'm trying to get my bearings here. It looks like it's right about there, south of the Q Street Bridge. There's also another crash back to the east. This is I-80 westbound right around 50th Street. You can see that's greatly impacting westbound traffic. It's backed up all the way to this 480 interchange, and that's impacting people's ability to get onto I-80 from the JFK as well. And you can see we've also had some overnight lingering construction that's been a bit of a pain right about here, I to L Street. That was there yesterday and caused some problems, and we got some big time slowdowns through this too and bottling things up back into the 680 and 80 interchange. So again, a good idea if you can, just avoid I-80 westbound anywhere near 680 right now, because things are really slowing down in that area, and we will see that likely still be an issue here with a crash now involved with that. So got the normal slowdowns eastbound on Dodge. That's been there for a little while. And again, a couple of spots on I-80 that seems to be causing the biggest problems out there as we get rolling. So we'll keep an eye on things. I'll go check the maps, check and see if there's any new crashes along the lines of those 2 on I-80 westbound causing the issues. Cerise.
All right, Rusty, we appreciate the update. Thank you. Happening today, we do expect to learn more about a deadly police shooting in Council Bluffs. Back in August, an Iowa State trooper stopped a driver on I-29. Authorities say 48-year-old Michael Broyles pulled a gun on the trooper and sped off. After a chase, authorities say he fired at officers. Law enforcement fired back, hitting Broyles, and he died at the hospital. The officers were not hurt. They were placed on leave per department policy. Well, you have less than a week to share your thoughts on the brand and the logo for the new Omaha streetcar. The Streetcar Authority is sharing their new online survey. The survey should take about 7 minutes to complete, and you have until next Tuesday to get it all done. A reminder, the streetcar is expected to start running around the fall of 2028. We have a link on the survey on our website. Just go to firstalert6.com. Happening today, IB Black Girl is hosting a news conference to mark Nebraska Black Maternal Health Month. This year's theme, Together We Birth Change. It calls attention to the urgent need for collective action. Today's event will highlight the community-led solutions that are reshaping systems of care and equity in the state. It starts this morning at 10 in the Anarcha Center courtyard. Still to come this morning, we're taking a look at a startling discovery that's truly once in a lifetime when First Alert 6 streaming returns.
Welcome back. This morning, we have something new to tell you about. A treasure worth more than $1 million found on a 300-year-old shipwreck. Sounds like the plot of a movie.
It does, right?
But it is reality for a crew in Florida. Now, during the summer season, a historic shipwreck operation discovered more than $1 million worth of silver and gold coins. The coins were found in the remains of the Treasure Fleet shipwreck.
Oh.
It sank in 1715 while carrying an estimated $400 million worth of gold, silver, and jewels.
Best way I could describe it is as if when you lose something that you really, really like, and you've almost come to terms with it just never being found again, and then all of a sudden it shows up. It's just such an awesome feeling.
Now, those coins were minted in the then Spanish colonies of Mexico, Peru, and Bolivia. Many still have visible dates and mint marks engraved on their surface.
Wow.
This is what the pirates were after.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to look up more of that. I want to see like some of the details on the coins and stuff. That is neat.
It is pretty cool. What were you gonna say?
No, I just think, you think back hundreds and hundreds of years, things could be lost, and then now today we're still finding new things every single day. So
it is amazing. That's an amazing find.
Think how big the ocean is too, and how many more like that are probably down there. I mean, they sailed around the Caribbean constantly, and probably more down there that people will find.
Now they're going to be inspired to search for more after that, right? $1 million. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us here on First Alert 6 Streaming. We're going to get ready for our update in the Today's Show. Of course, you can watch it here on streaming or over the air.
All right. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.
Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
Good Wednesday morning, everybody. It is 7:26. I'm Cerise Cole. Traffic is a mess right now. We want to get right to Senior Chief Meteorologist Rusty Lord, who has the latest.
Yeah, first alert to a couple of crashes here on I-80, especially we've been watching here. And you can see they're moving the camera around on me a little bit here. This is the westbound I-80 traffic leading up to a crash near Q Street. Looks like they're zooming in, trying to maneuver things around a little bit. But let me step back here, and you can see there's very, very heavy traffic heading down towards this crash. That's the L Street Bridge, and then it kind of follows. Oh, there's another crash within that right there. So there you go. Looks like the backup caused a crash. So that would be near the L Street Bridge. Then you go a little farther down, and you got the Q Street one as well. So Bit of a mess. It looks like it might be even a different direction too. It's kind of a mess to keep a close eye on. So this may be heading back up towards 680. You got southbound 680 here having some issues. So we got a few problems here with this moving on through. Also another crash on westbound I-80 near 50th Street that we've had some issues. So avoid 680 and the 80 interchange right now. There's a huge mess. It looks like crashes in both directions. Let's get a quick check of the forecast. You have clouds moving off towards the east and northeast. You got some showers to the west. Those are trying to hang on, but most likely we'll get high clouds streaming in off those, and it won't be a huge problem with rain in our area. Those will likely fizzle out. We're right around 60 degrees at the moment. First alert forecast for today takes 60s and turns them into mid 80s later on today. So a little bit warmer than yesterday, a little bit warmer on Thursday, a little bit warmer on Friday, getting close to an all-time record high on Friday for the month of October. Cerise?
Rusty, thank you. Breaking this morning, flames erupt at an apartment complex near 127th and Dodge around 10 last night. Omaha fires say the fire started in a kitchen and was caused by unattended food on the stove. Residents in 27 units were displaced due to this fire. One person was taken to the hospital. The cause and extent of their injuries are not clear yet. Damage is estimated at $200,000. It is 7:28. We're back with another update for you in about 25 minutes. We'll see you then.